Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're zooming in on the absolute bedrock of the American legal system. We're looking right at Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. And this isn't just some old, dusty piece of parchment. It's literally the foundational blueprint that breathed life into the entire federal judiciary. The whole shebang starts right here. Okay, let's dive into this, because honestly, it's pretty staggering when you stop and think about the sheer scale of what this one super concise constitutional article actually accomplished. Think about it. Did just one article really create the entire federal court system? Well, yes, but with a pretty brilliant twist. With just a few short paragraphs, the framers literally built an entire branch of government from scratch. It's basically the ultimate master plan for justice in the United States. So moving to Section 1, the blueprint, focusing on the creation of the courts. It's kind of like a master architect drawing up plans for a massive building. Article 3 laid out this really deliberate and frankly ingenious division of power. So on one side, we have the Supreme Court. Its existence was explicitly locked in, written right into the DNA of the country by Article 3 itself. But then, on the flip side, we have the lower federal courts. The framers actually didn't create them directly. Instead, they handed Congress the power to build out that lower tier. It's a super fascinating structural choice, right? It guarantees a highest court, but gives the legislature the flexibility to expand the federal system as the nation grew. But you might be wondering, why build this system at all? What's the actual purpose here? Well, the main job of these courts, from the very top down to those lower courts created by Congress, is to interpret the law and ensure the Constitution is applied fairly. They aren't there to write laws or debate policy. Actually, scratch that. They absolutely cannot write laws. Their sole job is to make sure the laws on the books and the Constitution itself are understood correctly and executed with absolute fairness across the board. Moving right along to Section 2, the blueprint. What cases do they hear? So this blueprint doesn't just build the courts, it dictates exactly what happens inside them to prevent, total legal chaos. It grants a very specific federal jurisdiction. First up, disputes between states. This ensures a neutral arena. Because let's face it, New York and New Jersey arguing over a border, they need a federal referee, not a local judge. Second, cases involving federal laws. Third, matters regarding international treaties. And finally, those absolutely crucial constitutional issues. If a case strikes at the heart of the Constitution itself, Article 3 says it firmly belongs in the federal courts. Now for Section 3, the shield. Let's look at how judges stay independent. And this brings us to the absolute core focus of our explainer today, how federal judges actually maintain their independence. You see, hand in courts the power to interpret the law and settle massive constitutional disputes. That's incredibly risky if those judges can be easily pressured by politicians or, an angry mob with pitchforks. The framers knew exactly how dangerous a politically compromised court could be. So their solution, 3 little words: during good behavior. This is the ultimate anchor of judicial independence. The Constitution doesn't just hire federal judges for a quick 4-year term. It grants them their positions for life, provided they maintain good behavior. By removing that constant pressure to run for re-election or beg politicians to keep their jobs, judges are totally freed up to focus entirely on the law. And this brilliantly illustrates how 2 massive constitutional pillars forge an impenetrable shield against political pressure. We just talked about lifetime service, but equally important, salary protection. The Constitution explicitly states that a federal judge's salary cannot be reduced while they're in office. Just imagine a judge ruling against the government on a really high-stakes case. Without this rule, Congress could literally punish that judge by slashing their paycheck to a single dollar. No way could the system work like that. Together, lifetime service and salary protection create an ironclad defense against political retaliation. All right, Section 4, the balance. Upholding justice and rule. So why does this intense focus on judicial independence matter for all of us? Simply put, because the courts act as a vital check on the other branches. By operating completely independently, they balance out government power. If the legislative or executive branches step out of line and violate the Constitution, it's the federal judiciary, protected by those lifetime terms and secure salaries, that has the independence to stand up and say, nope, that is unconstitutional. They are the ultimate counterweight in our system. Ultimately, the whole thing comes down to upholding justice and the rule of law, because Article 3 ensures courts remain fiercely independent. Those courts are empowered to guarantee that absolutely no one, not a president, not a senator, not some powerful corporation, is above the law. This constitutional foundation is the very thing that secures a fair, balanced society for us. Now, I want to leave you with this final, really vital question to chew on. If Article 3 didn't protect judicial salaries and terms, if judges could just be fired or financially ruined for making unpopular but legally correct decisions, could the rule of law actually survive? The brilliant design of the federal judiciary strongly suggests the framers knew the answer was a resounding no. The independence of the courts isn't just some nice perk for the judges, it's an absolute necessity for justice. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a fresh perspective on the vital importance of Article 3.